I heartily welcome every one of you to today's virtual class. As you can see on your screen, we are still on Modal auxiliary verbs. We've completed part 1, part 2, part 3 on Modal auxiliary verbs. Today we shall focus our attention on part 4 of the verbs. We've seen how we can use can, could, able to, may, might, ought to, and the likes. We have seen some rules that will help us to use each of these verbs in sentences that will make us unique among our peers. Today, our attention will be on must, have to, and need to, and we shall look at their use with the negative particle not. So, to get the best out of this, you are implored to get your learning materials like your pen, paper, and other materials that you will need to benefit maximally. I will wait for you. You're welcome back. We want to start with the use of the verbs to show necessity or requirement. When we say something is necessary, we show that in other aspects it may not be required, but for the particular point that we are discussing about, it is necessary. Here we are going to see must or have to or need to used with the base form of a verb in the present tense and in the future tense. So in the present tense and future tense, we have subject plus must or have to or need to plus the base form of the verb. We have some examples. 1. You must have a passport to cross the border. Look at this sentence very well. Do you sense the usage of it to show necessity or requirement? I guess yes. One can decide to have a passport or not to have a passport. But if you must cross that particular border, you need a passport. It is necessary. Look at the second one. Elizabeth has to apply for a visa by August 10th. Well, there is no deadline applying for visa, but for the purpose of using August 10th, it shows that there is a reason for why Elizabeth wants to apply for a visa. So if that reason must be actualized, she has to apply for that visa on or before August 10th. Do we see the necessity there? It's a requirement. Let's see yet another example. I need to drop by his room to pick up a book. It could be that the speaker has something important in the book that he wants to pick up. So if that thing is not saying what he wishes to do this day, he may not be able to accomplish it. So it is required that he goes there and picks up the book. Do we see that? Let's check how we can use the past tense of these verbs. We are going to focus our attention on had and need. That is have and need. Have will metamorphose to had and need will metamorphose to needed. Had to or needed to plus base on the verb. We have a certain example here. I had to work late last night. It was necessary that I work late last night, otherwise I could have lost my job. My boss asked us to work late. If I had objected to it, I wouldn't have been working again now. So it was a requirement. Do you see that? Another example, I needed to drink a few cups of coffee in order to stay awake. If I didn't drink few cups of coffee, I would have been sleeping on duty and my boss would have caught me sleeping on duty, which could have also led to my dismissal. Do we see the tone of necessity or requirement? Yes. But I want to give us a note of caution here. Even if have to or need to can be used interchangeably, where you have to use have to, you can use need to. we should not forget the fact that when there is a dose of urgency and maybe no alternative, we are implored to use have to. But where there seem to be alternatives and there is less urgency, we need to in that situation. Let's proceed now to when we use the verb to show almost 100% certainty. When you are 100% certain, look at the use of must in this category. Must plus base form of the verb. Example, Thomas has lived in Paris for years. Thomas has lived in Paris for years. His French must be very good. Do you see the note of urgency there? I mean, certainty. Because he has been living in Paris for many years, the speaker says he must be very good at French language. That is the certainty. There's a clause before the certainty. That is the reason for why he's very sure. Let's proceed to how we can use this verb to show persuasion. To persuade, we use the verb must plus have to plus base form of the verb. Must or have to plus base form of the verb. Look at the example. You must try this wine. It's excellent. Do you see the persuasion there? The waiter is saying the wine is excellent, so you must try it. And he has successfully persuaded the customer to buy. Persuasion. Yet another example. You have to visit us while you are in town. The speaker is telling the spoken to. Probably you have been coming here and there, here and there, here and there. You have not visited, and we are not far from where you're going. This time around, you have to visit us. Successfully, he is able to persuade the spoken to, and the spoken to will respond, all right, I have to visit you. I'll be there. I must be there. That is the assurance. We are still the persuasion in that note. Let's see the next verb. To show prohibition or what is forbidden. How do we use this? Look at the rule. Must not plus base form of the verb. So we now want to use the negative particle with the auxiliary verb or the modal auxiliary verb. Look at an example here. You must not drive over the speed limit. That is, you are forbidden to drive above the speed limit. It's a prohibition for you to drive over the speed limit. So do not drive. You must not. Another example, we have you must not leave medicines where children can get to them. You must not leave medicines where children can get to them. So it is prohibited for you to leave medicines where children can get to them. You are not allowed to leave medicines where little children can see them or reach to them. Do we see that? All right. We are progressing to that of what? Necessity. We can use this expression, the verbs, just as we have seen necessity or requirement. We can also use it to show lack of necessity. As an example, don't or doesn't or didn't plus have to. Then you bring the base form of the verb, you are showing lack of necessity. As in this, you don't have to park the car. The hotel valet will do it for you. So it's not necessary for you to do the parking. Allow the hotel valet to do that. That is what he is paid for. Professional work. That is exactly what it is. Lack of necessity. Yet another example. Tim doesn't have to go to school today. It's a holiday. It is not necessary for Tim to go. Why? Because it's a holiday. Lack of necessity. Yet another example. You didn't have to shout. Everyone could hear you. It was not necessary for you to shout. Why? Because everyone could hear you. So why do you shout? Why should you be shouting? That is the rule. We have seen that we can use them to show lack of necessity. And finally, we have need not plus base form of the verb. This also shows necessity. Look at this example. You need not to worry about me. I'll be fine. I'm a big girl now. You don't have to worry. You need not worry. It is not necessary for you to worry. I'll be fine. So far, so good. We have discussed on must, have to, need to, and are used with negative particle to show necessity or requirements, to show assurance, to show lack of necessity, and to persuade. We may have other usage or functions of these modal auxiliary verbs. Search for them, work on these ones we have talked about, and see whether your usage of English or your use of English will not be far better than it was before today's class. If you have been enjoying our videos,
I beg in the name of God, subscribe.
Please click the subscription button, also the bell beside the subscription button, so that anytime we upload video, you will have the notification for you to join the class. Don't worry, very soon we will do live class. Some of you have been private chatting us to do live class. Please let us also tell you from this medium that you can also use the comment section of this channel to comment. Let us see what we are saying. I appreciate those of you that are private chatting us, sending us mails. We love you all. Till we meet again in our next class, I leave you in the hands of Naira Malay. As he dey go.
Ọmọ pàwà ní gbogbo Yọ́lá sí mi lára ọmọ pò kí ń pariwo Wájọ ṣe fún ẹ nígboro Àwọn tó máa ṣe fún màtún nígboro Olówó gbajúmọ̀ Má lọ gbàgbé polówó láyé mọ̀ Náà sì dẹ̀kọ̀ Ìyọ́gàn wájọ́ wọn wò Wádọ́hùn bọ̀ tún ní ṣe wẹ́mù Wèrè mọ̀ ń pé mọ́tò ń bọ̀ Wọ́n sọ fún ọmọ ní ọ̀pọ̀ ojú ń rọ̀ Ayọ̀ ń pààyàn rọra yọ̀ Àtìlẹ́gbò èèyàn ló sọ wẹ́